Hello and welcome to this Java tutorial. So now when you have idea about the conditional statement if else, it's the right time to circle back to one of the operators known as ternary operator in Java. So why after if else? Because its functioning is closely associated to the working of if else, and the knowledge of if else certainly helps in appreciating the ternary operator more. So coming to ternary operator, it uses two symbols actually, question mark and colon, and it can be thought of as a shorthand for an if else statement. Okay, so it allows developers to evaluate a Boolean expression and return one of the two values depending on the result. So it is called the ternary operator because it requires three operands: a condition, a value if true, and a value if false. So this is the syntax of ternary operator in Java, where you will have a Boolean expression, then a question mark, then some expression, then colon, then another expression. So if this Boolean expression evaluates to true, then expression 2 is evaluated and that value becomes the result of this operator. If this is false, then expression 3 is evaluated and that value becomes the result of the operator. So let's see with one example here first, then we'll do it in Eclipse also. Here, if you see, right, we have this as ternary operator, I greater than 10, question mark, then expression, another expression after colon. So if this is true, if a value of I is greater than 10, then I is multiplied by 5. That becomes the value of this val, right? That is returned. If I is greater than 10 is false, then it goes to this part, I into 10, and that is returned and assigned to the val variable, right? That's how ternary operator works. Okay, so let's do this same thing what we have just seen here, that if I is greater than 10, then I into 5, otherwise I into 10, then using ternary operator. Let's do the same thing in Eclipse and see how it actually works. So I already created a class ternary operator demo within basic.operators package, and here we have this structure that in this method I'll pass the value, and if passed value is greater than 10, multiplied by 5, otherwise multiplied by 10. So I can call it from here, get value, let's first call it with 6, return a value, so I can take it as the result, which I can then print. Result equal to plus result. Now we come here. What we have to do is we have to get some value using ternary operator. So I greater than 10, that is our Boolean expression, then question mark, then we return, if it is true, then we return I into 5, otherwise when it is false, we return I into 10. This is our ternary operator, then we can return this value, return val. All right, so if I run it, I'll get 60, right? 6 is greater than 10, false, so it will come here, 6 into 10, that will be assigned to val 60, right? And that's what is printed. If we want with the greater than 10, let's take 15. With that I get 75 because 15 is greater than 10, true. 15 into 5, 75, it will come here, right? And that is assigned to val and sent back. So result is 75. Now if we do the same thing using if, let's do it here so you can see side by side. That's how we'll write, right? If I greater than 10, then val equal to I into 5, else val equal to I into 10. We'll have to write these many lines. This is equivalent if else state, right? So that's the benefit of ternary operator. It is shorter, code is shorter, concise, and more readable. You have everything in one line itself. I greater than 10, Then what happens if it is not greater than 10? Then what happens? So that is the benefit of using ternary operator. What is not the benefit of ternary operator? There is no performance improvement if ternary operator is used over an if else statement. You don't get any performance improvement by using ternary operator. Only thing is it makes the code more readable and concise. So remember that. All right, now let's do one more example using this ternary operator. All right, so here is another simple example which we can do. So I've written the method here itself in the same class, ternary operator demo. What it does is if past age is greater than or equal to 18, message is you can vote. Otherwise, it is you can't vote, and we have to do it using ternary operator. First, let's make from here how we call it. Vote or not, let's say first we call it with 22 and we get a string message. So string message equal to, and we can print it messages plus message, right? Now we come back here and actually write the ternary operator. So we get age, right? Age we can check greater than equal to 18 question mark. True means you can vote. False means you can't vote, right? That is the message. We can take it in one variable message equal to this, and we can return that message. That's it. With 22, we should get you can vote, right? Now, if I change it to 12, you can't vote, right? So with ternary operator, we can do it in one line itself like this. With if else, again, we have to do something like this, right? If age greater than 18, message equal to, else message equal to, then return that message. All right, so one more example of ternary operator where we are checking with the age and sending the message as string. We have seen one example where int is used as the assigned value, and here string is used as the assigned value. So one more thing about ternary operator in Java is that you can also nest a ternary operator just like you can nest the if else statement, right? In case of ternary operator, it means that you can have one ternary operator within another ternary operator. But generally, if you do that, it decreases the readability, right? Which is actually the USP of ternary operator. So it is not actually advisable to nest a ternary operator, but you can do it if you want, and up to 2 levels sometimes it is okay also. So suppose I have this requirement, right, that if there are up to 5 transactions, then you send a message as okay. If more than 5 and less than 10, then notify user that there are these many transactions. If more than 10, then warn user. And you have to do it using ternary operator. Let's copy this part. Okay, so I'll create a new class, nested ternary operator demo. Okay, so within that, what we want is this part. So let's say I have int number of transactions equal to 8 initially, and on that I'll build. What I can do here is string message equal to number of transactions less than equal to 5, right? Then can send okay. Otherwise, now here I can't directly send notify user, correct? It has to be another condition here, more than 5 and less than 10. So that is where you will use nested. So number of transactions greater than 5, but less than 10. Correct. That will be the second part. Again, you'll nest it. If this is true, then you send this notify user. Otherwise, you send warn user. That is what you will do. Here, one ternary operator, then you have one more here, which is nested within this. So from here, you again create new ternary operator, right? Notify user because it is in between 5 and 10. I make it 3. Okay. I make it 13. Then warn user. So that is how you can nest a ternary operator, which, as I said, generally nesting of ternary operator is not considered a good thing because you lose on the readability. Now it is looking much more complex, right? Rather than a simple one like this. But up to 2 levels, sometimes it's okay. So that is about ternary operator, which is, you can say, shorthand for an if-else statement, makes it more readable and generally used a lot where you have a simple condition like this, right? Rather than using if else, you can quickly write it using ternary operator. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.